Huh. What a great and inspiring song. Maybe I should actually do a recording for once. Oh look, I already have it pulled up. Okay, so this isn't my first, second, third, or fourth time reading this chapter. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Chapter 27. Why does he have to ensure they're all pissed at us? The boot camp that was started by Tempest was in its final stages, and everyone was now thoroughly pissed. Tempest had done everything that would have been considered a normal day of training for militia troops, and then decided to spice things up a little. He had instructed everyone to switch weapons with their partners and be able to perform with at least 50% efficiency during the combat drill, or they would have to learn how to do push-ups. Most everyone went pretty well, Kira having to do just the basic carbine as she was technically partners with Sid. Wise continuously complained about how heavy Crescent Rose was and the ridiculous recoil, with RWBY complaining about how light Mirchanaster was, and how useless the dust cylinder was. Blake could barely keep up with the recoil of Embercelica, not even being able to use them properly, with about 100 different misfires, and Yang continuously complained about the lack of firepower in Gamble's Shroud, tangling its cords several times. John could barely manage to figure out how Pyrrha's weapons worked, managing to accidentally transform it in the middle of the drill and cut himself several times. Pyrrha was handling everything the best. Croquet Moore was not proving to be much of a challenge, and the R2A4 was practically the same as her rifle form of Milo, being able to complete the test on the first try. Rosaline was definitely handling it the worst. Being partners with Demon, she had to switch for his Odachi/chain gun combo weapon. She had no idea how to even use the sword, so she had to use the chain gun function. Fortunately for her, it was met with someone with Demon's strength level, which was unfortunate for her. Every time she fired more than a single quick trigger pull, the weapon would kick back so much that she would be aiming about 2 meters above the target. She eventually figured out to set it up on a tripod, but still couldn't fire in full auto without becoming ridiculously off target. After that exercise, everyone was thoroughly pissed off, so Tempest decided to make them even more so. He had made them complete a normal military-grade obstacle course, blindfolded, with their hands tied behind their backs, while shooting at them from the sidelines. Literally, everyone failed, except for Blake, who had nimbly completed it using her Fauna skills to their full potential, as well as Yang, who had become so pissed off that she activated her semblance and melted through every obstacle. After that, Tempest ensured that he was getting the point across and led them to another set of challenges. She had shifted them into 2 teams and made them play volleyball with live grenades. They had been set to detonate every time that they hit the floor, and not when someone hit them, and didn't have a fuse time. When he said that they'd be doing it with live grenades, everyone just laughed it off without a second thought, and played a bit haphazardly for the first part. They kept it in the air for about a minute before John stumbled, and the grenade detonated at his feet, sending him flying. To say that got them going was an understatement, as they really became the most attentive people in the world right there and then. Josh had hidden behind everyone since he didn't have an aura, and managed to avoid it for most of the game, until it came his way. He had quickly sent it back over the other side, but at the wrong angle, causing it to detonate at RWBY's feet. She was fine, but Yang was giving him a look that would turn him to ash if looks could kill. After that, Tempest decided it would be a fun idea if they had one-on-one fights, blindfolded of course. They were allowed to use their weapons, but they had to be told how to fight by one of their teammates. First off, it was Yang versus Pyrrha, with Ruby and John commanding respectively. Ruby had just told Yang to shoot in every direction as fast as possible, working for a while until she ran out of ammo. Pyrrha had been hit a couple of times, but most of them had grazed off her shield. John then led her up to Yang. From there, it was a pretty one-sided fight. Ruby had no idea what any type of boxing moves were called, so every time she said something she thought was right, Yang followed through perfectly, but it was just the wrong command. Pyrrha eventually won with John's superior commanding techniques and quick thinking. Next up, the match was Jaeger versus Kira, with Weiss and Rosaline commanding respectively. Kira had managed to win for the mere reason that when Jaeger had turned invisible, Rosaline had instructed her to shift her weapon into the two-handed Khopesh and created a mini tornado, which flung Jaeger around until his aura hit red. Tempest had told them that the training would either end now or much later in the night, depending on their next move. They were instructed to choose someone who hadn't fought yet, that they believed to be the weakest. Rosaline heard this and immediately stepped forward, knowing it would be her anyway. Tempest then instructed someone who they thought would be the next best instructor who hadn't gone yet. The rest of them picked Josh. Tempest had told them then what would be happening. It would be him versus Rosaline, with Josh telling him what to do, and Rosaline could pick whoever she wanted to instruct her. If the winner was Rosaline, the training would end now, and they could all go back to dinner. However, if the winner was Tempest, then they would have to be instructed on how to do push-ups and sit-ups once again, till after dinner was officially finished. Everyone had groaned at this until Tempest told them that if they refused, they'd be doing laps in the morning as well. Rosaline was told to pick someone, taking her time to decide, before finally selecting Demon as her instructor. He had been gratified and took his position at the side of the arena, Josh doing the same on the other side. Tempest jumped down to the arena and loaded his shotguns, and pulled out on a blindfold. Rosaline walking down and checking the mags in her smart pistol. After she was done, she put on her blindfold, but Demon knew that wouldn't cut it. Rosaline, pull the blindfold over your ears so they can't hear you. So you can't hear, he instructed, knowing it sounded completely stupid. What? I won't be able to hear you, she complained, taking off the blindfold to look at him like he was insane. He chucked down a small earbud and motioned it to his ear, Rosaline getting the idea and putting it in her right ear before slipping the blindfold over her ear as well. Tempest had smiled when he heard the exchange and began spinning his shotguns in anticipation. Demon activated the comm system in his helmet and linked it to the bud he'd given Rosaline. Hello. Testing. 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Demon instructed, receiving a thumbs up from Rosaline. Demon nodded for the match to begin, and Weiss walked to the center, with Mirtanastra drawn. She stabbed into the ground, and a large clock glyph appeared just above her, counting down from 10. She walked off the stage, and they all waited for the glyph to count down, everyone shouting encouragement to Rosaline. Okay, Rosaline, the match is about to begin, so I'm going to need you to aim just in front of you. Tell me when you hear yourself get a target lock. I wrote the sound system of your pistols so that you can hear it. Rosaline nodded on stage, and they all waited until the timer finished. It hit 0, and Josh immediately told Tempest to begin firing his shotguns. He obliged and slowly walked forward as he did. Rosaline, fire as soon as you hear the lock confirm. Until then, jump back and use a parkour kit to get height. Rosaline pulled the triggers on both her pistols, unleashing both clips at Tempest, all of the shots finding its mark, and jumping backwards about 20 meters from Tempest, managing to avoid the bullets coming her way. She dropped the clip from the pistols and loaded new ones in quickly from the 2 thigh holsters that held side-facing mags. Josh yelled at Tempest to fire his grenade launchers, aiming them slightly away from his body to ensure maximum coverage. Rosaline, run forward at full speed and jump when I tell you to. Demon instructed, knowing that if Rosaline heard him, she would think of him as being insane. Rosaline sprinted forward just as Tempest fired 2 grenades, narrowly missing Rosaline herself and exploding just behind her. Josh then shouted for Tempest to fire his shotguns, hoping to catch Rosaline as she kept closer. Jump! Demon casually stayed into the mouthpiece, the girl leaping straight over Tempest and landing behind him. Activate your knives and slash horizontally behind you. Rosaline switched her pistols to their knife form and slash, causing Tempest in the side with both blades, catching Tempest inside with both blades. He recoiled slightly before swinging his guns around to try and catch Rosaline while she was so close. Roll backwards. Rosaline narrowly missed the blades that were on the shotguns and rolled about 3 meters from him. Josh yelled for him to pull out a grenade and roll it forward before jumping back. Kick out with your left foot, then reload. Rosaline managed to kick the grenade and load her pistols as the grenade contacted the Tempest, sending him flying from the explosion. When she finished reloading, she aimed her pistols and fired as soon as it signaled that it was locked. This put Tempest just above Red, enraging him and making him pull off his blindfold and began running at Rosaline, guns blazing. She got hit a couple of times and lost her calm, began to run the opposite direction. Demon saw something that could potentially help him and let the situation play out. Rosaline was running full pelt, and Tempest was hot on her heels firing his shotguns. Okay, Rosaline, Tempest is now cheating, so you need to keep calm if you're going to win. In a couple of moments, you're going to need to jump and kick out with both legs. As you do, hopefully, you'll kick off the wall. They need you to spin around and kick with your left leg, hitting him on the side of the head and ending the battle, if everything goes as planned. She didn't give a sign of hearing him, and Demon panicked for a moment, hoping that she would at least follow his instructions when he gave them. Now! He shouted. Rosaline obeyed the instructions, jumping and kicking off the wall, spinning around and catching Tempest in the side of the head with her foot before he could register what was happening. His aura hit Red, and he hit the floor hard as Rosaline flew past and couldn't right herself in the air, landing on her butt on the floor. Rosaline wins, cheered Ruby from the sidelines, rejoicing the training was finally over. Rosaline pulled off her blindfold and sent a warm smile Demon's way, melting his heart. He smiled back and walked over to her, helping her up, pulling her to stand up. Nice try, Tempest, but you just got your ass handed to you by an IMC grunt. He jeered, prodding Tempest as he lied half knocked out on the floor. He walked over and kicked him in the side for good measure, listening and groan from the man. So does he right for this pointless training? She added, as everyone else walked up to join them. As much as I'd like to agree with you, it wasn't pointless, announced Demon, smiling a bit under his helmet. What? How can that possibly have helped us? Asked Weiss, anger flaring within her. Demon responded by pulling out his pistol and firing at Yang, which she blocked with Gamble's shroud. She had grabbed it right off Blake's back and used the katana mode to block the bullet. Everyone just stared until Yang broke the silence. Holy crap, how did that happen? Well, I could tell you, but I believe Marcus has already compiled a database on how it has helped, Demon mentioned, pointing to Marcus, who was typing rapidly on his datapad. Well, as I have been analyzing everyone for the entirety of this and making a Spectre do everything for me, he said, gesturing to someone that looked exactly like him in the stands. At the press of a button on his pad, it flickered for a second and revealed Marvin, which bowed, then walked off. I can say that you have all shortened your nerve endings in your brain due to the stress-induced training, allowing increased reaction speed, as well as giving you an increased combat rating with the added weapons to your arsenal. Combat rating? Weiss asked, putting her hands on her hips accusationally. It's just the way the militia determines the ranking of pilots, allowing them to properly assign pilots in relation to the danger levels expected on a mission. Yours is around 2365, by the way. When Demon heard this, he scoffed loudly and collapsed into laughter. "What's his problem?" asked Kira, giving him weird looks. Demon tried to say something but collapsed into another fit of laughter. Josh decided to take over the reins of the conversation and let them in on what he was laughing about. "You see, Demon here is the best pilot in the entire militia. Let's just say his score is a tad above that." "What do you mean by a tad?" asked Rosaline, curious about how good he was. During the first few days of her initiation, she had heard rumors from the other initiates about the best pilot the militia had, Demon. She heard of his exploits, his copious amounts of confirmed kills, the amount of property damage he'd caused the IMC, and of course the bounty that was placed on his head. 1,000,000 credits. By this time, Demon had finally finished his fits of laughter, although he didn't get off the floor. "My score is somewhere around 4998. If they hadn't changed it after I died," he said, looking at all their faces of disbelief. "What? And I'm now even 2500? What even? What gives?" Weiss complained. "You see, the pilot score is a combination of not only combat effectiveness, but also variability, adaptability, mental stability, and knowledge. Demon's score is so high because he has 100% combat efficiency with all weapons listed in the militia arsenal. He has received a kill with at least 287 different improvised weapons. He can pilot every craft used by the IMC and militia, short of a carrier. He receives no negative effects after battle, as he shows no signs of PTSD, and his engineering skills allow him to fix every piece of issued equipment on the battlefield with limited supplies." Everyone stared at him in disbelief at what was being said. How could an 18-year-old manage all of that? "You had no idea how hard it was to kill some pilot with a billiard ball," Demon added, reminiscing the day that happened, smiling a bit at the look on the pilot's face when he saw that Demon wasn't even holding a weapon in the middle of battle. "So, what are everyone else's?" Blake asked, a bit curious about how everyone else's ratings were. "Well, no one here scored above 3500 on the test, with all the information I could gather. The highest scorers were Kira, Tempest, and Blake, with the lowest being Jean, RWBY, and me." "How come Blake is higher than me?" "No offense," Weiss asked, adding the last part for the Faunus' benefit. "The main reason is because of mental stability and the versatility of the weapons. As far as I can tell, you haven't seen a proper fight and have never killed a person. Kira, Tempest, and Blake have all seen combat." Blake looked alarmingly at Marcus, scared at how he knew she had killed someone before. Demon saw this and saw something that he saw on many young recruits after their first days of battle. Regret. She either was forced to kill the victim, or it was an accident. Something she obviously didn't want to remember. Like, when you work with the military as long as we have, you begin to grow used to the look of the killers around you. When you are suddenly surrounded by civilians who have never taken anyone's life, the look is gone, and anyone who has it sticks out like a sore thumb. Demon informed the girl, calming her worries a bit. "I didn't mean to do it. I was walking around the city one day and came across a wolf Faunus being mugged. I tried to step in but before I could, the attacker pulled a gun and aimed it at the man. I was still learning how to use Gamble Shroud at the time, so when I threw it, I missed. Or, more accurately, I hit. I sliced his throat, and he bled out in seconds. The man continuously thanked me, saying if I hadn't done anything, he would have died. But I could never live with the knowledge that I killed a person, even if they were a killer themselves." Everyone sat in silence for a while, contemplating the fact that Blake had actually killed someone. Apparently, she hadn't told her team everything. "Why'd you tell us? Why didn't you tell us?" asked Weiss, still fuming that she had technically broken their promise. How would you have reacted, knowing that I was part of the White Fang and that I had killed people? Would you have honestly accepted me as your teammate?" asked the enraged Faunus. Her question was met with silence. The answer unspoken. I would not consider that to be much trouble, Marcus said, not quite grasping the seriousness of the situation. Demon here has accumulated quite the kill tally over his career as a pilot. The last time the monthly score press release marked his total kills as 6,574 kills. The count is wrong, Demon announced, dipping his head in shame. What? Asked Rosalie, not sure if he was actually serious. The count is wrong. It only includes confirmed kills. I have thousands more unconfirmed, specters destroyed, and grunts killed. The count is wrong. Thousands? Asked Jean, not believing that much killing was possible. From the first day of my induction in the militia, I have had no breaks other than travel time between planets. When I slept in the bed in my room on the first day, it was the first time in 2 years that I had slept on anything other than dirt, metal, or military-issued bunks. Every time I was offered a vacation day, I turned it down instantly. I was given several accounts of medical discharge by my doctor for extreme sleep deprivation, being labeled as a hazard on the battlefield, and had to bribe them every time to ensure I wasn't discharged. When I joined the militia, war became my life. Every day I would set to a random planet and was pointed at something that needed to be killed. Most pilots within the militia survive maybe 3 months in total, never really taking up too much space, and they were just another number in the files to be put away for the year. Only 367 pilots have survived past a year of actual active duty, with only 127 surviving past 2 years. I have been rated to be more effective at taking out IMC than an entire battalion of grunts. In my line of work, killing is just the job description. They don't care how you do it. So yeah, I've killed thousands. I don't care, because I know they're just as much monsters as I am. The count would be around 10,000 by now. 10,000? RWBY nearly screamed in disbelief. A roundabout. A roundabout? How can you be this casual? Yang shouted. I'm casual because it brings back my may not show signs of PTSD, but I'm still haunted by my killings. If I had talked about it and tried to reconcile, I would have killed myself ages ago. I saved myself by forgetting whatever they look like, turning them into just another person to add to the list. Josh walked over and put his hand on Demon's shoulder, trying to comfort him a little. I don't think any less of you. We will all have done things that we regret. Some more than others. You can talk. You're just a pacifist. You haven't killed many people. I would drown in the amount of blood that I've spilled. Militia? You might have been sent there to retrieve the dog tags, but I was there when it happened. I may be a pacifist, but I've seen some shit. I've had to reattach arms, cut out lungs, and burn off arm stumps. I was sent to clean up the camp in New Manchia. New Manchia? You might have been sent there to retrieve dog tags, but I was there when it happened. I was forced to watch everything. Everything. What happened there? Asked Pyrrha, a bit scared of the answer. Demon just casually turned to her, knowing the reaction he would receive. A massacre. An entire colony killed because they were suspected militia conspirators. They rounded up every single person on the entire world and slowly began executing them in a slow chain, hoping they would scare the people into telling them anything they knew. When they didn't tell them anything, they were decapitated with machetes for added effect. They didn't care who you were. Men, women, children, all executed the same. And since none of them knew anything, you can guess what happened. John began gagging at the image of it. The others' faces turned green as they all tried to comprehend the massacre. The only reason I survived was because I was part of the militia garrison station there. We were forced to watch so that we knew full well it was because of us that this was happening. They had killed 98% of all civilians when the reinforcements had arrived and evacuated everyone. Demon couldn't hold the memories back and just decided to let them flow, seeing everything again, seeing the massacre, seeing everyone die. They flashed in front of his eyes at insane speeds, but he saw every detail, every person, every single speck of blood that covered the ground. He slowly managed to bring himself to something that he had hated for it to happen. He cried. It started to slow at first, no one really noticing until he collapsed to the floor and cradled his head in his arms and letting it flow. No one knew what to do, having either no idea how to help or being scared of what would happen if they interrupted. Slowly, Rosalie knelt down and hugged him, letting him cry into a crook of her arm. As he did, he motioned for everyone to leave, most of them being a bit hesitant before she just stared at them with killer intent. It took a few minutes for Demon to get the images out of his head. Glad that it was finally over, before he actually registered that Rosalie was cradling him. He immediately jumped back out of her grasp, only a few meters away, then turned back to see the hard look on her face. He immediately cursed under his breath, hating himself for causing more pain than he should have. "I'm sorry," he said, not quite sure what to say. "It's okay. You were just thinking through some hard things. Just know that if you have anything you need to get out, you can tell me," she consoled, giving a warm smile. "Can I ask something?" "Anything." "Do you think I'm a monster?" She was a bit taken aback by this, not really being able to answer for a few seconds. No, I don't think you are. You were just doing what you thought was right. A monster does things even though they know they're doing something wrong. The IMC, we're taught to think of you like monsters, but I can bet on my life that you were told the same thing during your training. Being a monster is a relative term. To a mouse, a cat is a monster, while to us, it's just a pet. Many people think that you're a monster, but I don't. To me, you're a kind and caring person who believes in everything he does." "Thanks. Hey, do you know I still haven't... Hey, you know I still haven't taken me to that coffee shop you promised after the dance?" Ian's face turned a bit red, happy that he was wearing a helmet to hide his face. He didn't have a chance to respond before Rosalie talked again. "Tomorrow after school I'm free, so it'd be nice if we could go then. How does that sound?" He nodded and walked over, hugging her again before walking off back to his dorm, not caring that he was missing dinner. He went back to his pod and opened the mini bar that he kept underneath his workbench, pulling out a large bottle of beer that he had procured while walking around an abandoned city for a day. He looked over the label. Time to drown my fears and doubts away in the sweet nectar that is beer. He pulled off his mask and drank the entire bottle in a single swig, feeling the burning sensation on the back of his throat. Time to wake up in the morning with a massive hangover. Fun for the whole family. And with that, he went over and curled up on the couch, trying to get some sleep before failing miserably. Maybe if I drink more beer. I am not going to edit in the background for this one just because, dear God, I'm so tired. And this is going to take way too long for the, copyrighted songs that I use in my outros. So, what happened to me over the last 3 weeks? Let's see. I lost my voice. My girl got very sick, like not life-threatening, but she couldn't really leave the bed, and I ended up taking care of her. Went to a Renaissance fair. I tried to kill the king with a fake blade and got hit with a very large bamboo axe. Was forced to dance for a crowd of people as punishment. Yeah, just schoolwork, working out, just kind of day-to-day stuff. Like I said in the beginning, I tried recording this like so many times a couple weeks ago, but I would only get halfway through it and then lose my voice because I was still getting over sickness, and then I just kind of fell into a fit of, I don't know, depression, not motivation to do anything. So, tiredness. But for some reason, getting hit with a battle axe really motivates you to actually do something with your life. Anyways, I hope you have a good day. I will be uploading again tomorrow. And have a great week!